Hi, I'm Donna Wolfe from Naztazia.com.
Today, I'll show you how to crochet this V-neck collar for a V-neck top. This is a lovely way to dress up a plain V-neck t-shirt with some decorative crochet work. To do this, I'm using less than 100 yards of a fine sport weight cotton and a size C crochet hook. To begin, make a slip knot on your hook and make a chain 6. Once the 6 chains are made, slip stitch to the first chain to form a ring. We're going to start with making a regular 2-round granny square. So for round 1, we'll make a chain 3, which counts as our first double crochet stitch. Then we'll proceed to make 2 more double crochet stitches all in that same space. So technically there are actually 3 double crochet stitches there. We'll follow that with the chain 3, which forms our first corner. And then in the ring again, we'll make 3 more double crochet stitches. And these stitches technically form the side of the granny square. Then we make another chain 3 for the next corner, and then we proceed with making our next side of the granny square, which consists of 3 double crochet stitches all in the ring. We repeat with another chain 3 for the next corner of the granny square, followed by 3 more double crochet stitches. This will be the last set of double crochet stitches at this time. By the way, I do have a beginner granny square video which goes slower and in more detail if needed. Then we'll make our last chain 3. This time, to complete the round, we'll slip stitch to the top of the initial chain 3 that we started on this round. For round 2, we need to slip stitch over to the corner of the granny square first. So we make a slip stitch in each of the next 2 double crochet stitches. And we make a slip stitch into the previous chain 3. Then we make a chain 3, which serves as our first double crochet stitch. Since we do things in groups of 3 with this stitch pattern, we'll make 2 more double crochet stitches. We'll follow that with a chain 3. And in that very same space, we'll make yet another set of 3 double crochet stitches, all in that first corner space of the granny square. This increase helps form the sides of the granny square nicely. In between corners, we just make a chain 1. Now, for the remaining 3 corners, we're going to do this pattern, which will repeat exactly for all 3 corners. We'll first start off with 3 double crochet stitches all in the next corner space. Then we'll follow that with a chain 3, and then in the very same space again, make yet another set of 3 double crochet stitches all in that same corner space. Once the 3 double crochet stitches are completed, we just do a chain 1 since we only make a small chain in between sets of corner stitches. And then we repeat this 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet, chain 1 for the remaining corners. Once you have completed all 3 corners, you'll just slip stitch to the top of the original chain 1 to complete this round. You can see what this looks like thus far. Going forward, we're going to start working in back and forth rows instead of rounds. So to prepare ourselves for this, we have to slip stitch over to the next corner. So the granny square is actually going to become more of a diamond, and we're going to work back and forth on one of the sides. So for row 1, we'll begin with the chain 3 and turn our work. We stick with the groups of 3 concept, and since the chain 3 serves as a double crochet stitch, we just make 2 more double crochet stitches in the space. Then over any previous 3 double crochet stitches, we just make a chain 1. And then in any spaces from below, we make 3 double crochet stitches in them. Then we follow that with a chain 1, since 3 double crochet stitches are below us. And finally, we end this row with 3 double crochet stitches all in the last space. You can see what this is starting to look like thus far. It's important to remember row 1 and then our upcoming row 2, since that's what will be repeated for the remainder of the pattern. So for row 2, we begin with the chain 3 and we turn our work. Since we have 3 double crochet stitches below us, we do just a chain 1. And then in the next space, we make 3 double crochet stitches all in that same space. And then we make a chain 1 over the previous double crochet stitches. We follow that with 3 double crochet stitches all in the next space. As you can see, this granny stitch pattern is very similar to how we make granny squares, except this is made in rows instead of rounds. We make a chain 1 and we end this row with just a double crochet on the top of the last stitch from the previous row. You can see what this looks like thus far. Basically, we're extending one side of the granny square to create the upwards V section for our shirt. So going forward, we're just going to repeat rows 1 and 2 for the remainder of this side. You might be wondering how many rows should I make for the one side of my crochet collar? And the answer to that is going to vary upon how you want your design to look. You can make just a very small V at the bottom of your shirt, or you can make the V go to the shoulder seams, or you can make the V go all the way around and meet up at the back of the neck. It's completely up to you. Mine went just to the shoulder seams. And once we've made our one side long enough, which mine isn't right now, but we're going to move on anyway, we need to connect the yarn or thread again and work on the other side. So place a slip knot on your hook and slip stitch to the top of the granny square right where we began our previous row 1 from the first side. And now we're just going to repeat our row 1 from before. We'll start with the chain 3, which is our first double crochet stitch. Then we make 2 more double crochet stitches in the same space. Over previous 3 double crochet stitches, we make just a chain 1. Then we proceed with 3 more double crochet stitches in the next space, as we have been doing on the other row 1 as well. And finally, we make a chain 1 over the previous 3 double crochet stitches from below. And in our last space for the granny square, which happens to be the next corner, we make 3 double crochet stitches all in the same space. Then we proceed on with row 2. So we're going to continue working on this side now, and we should make the same number of rows as our previous side, unless you want to make an asymmetrical design instead, which would look kind of neat. Once you've fastened off and woven in your ends, it's time to place the collar on the V-neck shirt to figure out exactly where it's going and how we're going to sew it onto the shirt nicely. I happen to like these quilting clips to hold everything in place, but feel free to use pins or whatever else you wish to accomplish this goal. I'm taking a regular sewing needle and matching pink thread. I made a knot at the end to hold it in place, and now I'm going to take small stitches that go through the t-shirt and catch a loop or 2 from the crocheted collar. I'm spacing out my stitches somewhere around 1/2 inch. You don't have to make very close stitches, but you don't want the stitches to be too far apart either. And you will continue sewing this side all the way up towards the shoulder section. And you'll also sew the other side as well. I'm only sewing this top edge to the shirt. I don't find that I need to sew the bottom edge as well, as it lays properly without any issues. You can see I added a pearl pendant to the bottom of the crocheted work with a jump ring. You can also see how I hand sewed the top shoulder section. And that's it. That's how I crochet a V-neck collar for my t-shirts.